So we prepare some slides with the picture you sent me. Do you hear me well? Frozen.
Yes, you have me.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Good. Yeah. Sorry about the freezing. I don't know why it's doing that.
Did that work? Maybe.
Yeah, I moved back to the office, but usually network is very good here, so I'm a bit surprised. So how many people do we attend?
Now we have 8 people in chat room. Hello, everyone. So ready? So we get started?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do a short introduction in Chinese first, and then I introduce you in English and pass the time to you.
Okay. Yes.
Great. Hello， 歡迎大家翻到嚟 Watson Sour 啦。咁又見到我啦。咁今日咧我一個人啫。因為今日啲酒太好飲啦，我就想自己飲晒，唔 share 俾其他同事啊。咁今日咧我哋又去到新嘅 series 啦，12月新嘅 series， 我哋另一個提子喎。上個月我哋傾咗 Riesling 啦，咁今個月我傾下紅酒喎。咁我哋講咧就講一個 Grenache 嘅提子。咁個 Grenache 有時叫 Garnacha。咁喺唔同嘅地方叫做唔同嘅名啦。咁點解我會揀隻提子嚟講咧？因為而家呢個 Grenache 嘅提子咧，近年咧喺歐洲啦，之後而家喺香港啦、亞洲啦，都越嚟越興起嘅。因為越嚟越多人去 rediscover 咗一啲老樹啦，做酒嘅方法啦，發現咧 Grenache 嘅提子咧其實好似 Pinot Noir 咁，可以 reflect 到嗰個 terroir。咁好多人直情講 Grenache 嘅提子咧，直情係 New Pinot Noir。咁我哋今個禮拜開始咧，1連3集咧，我就3個唔同嘅 producer 喺唔同嘅國家嘅，咁啊探討下嘅提子係咪真係可以做到 New Pinot Noir呢個外號啦。咁講開 Grenache 一定唔少得，一定要講 Châteauneuf-du-Pape 啦。咁 Châteauneuf-du-Pape 咧就位於南盧河嘅產區，咁係法國嘅南邊啦。咁佢哋嗰度點解咁出名咧？咁除咗呢個係法國有史以來第一個酒嘅 AOC 之外咧，同埋佢嗰度啲 soil 咧對 Grenache 咧種得都好好嘅。咁佢哋啲 soil 咧就好多一嚿嚿嘅大石，佢哋叫做 Galihuli， 咁嗰啲 pebble stone 嚟嘅一啲圓形嘅大石。咁一陣間咧我哋就要再詳細講啦。咁今日我哋好高興請到咧Domaine de Beaurenard， 佢哋1995年就開始釀酒噶啦，咁一個歷史非常悠久嘅酒莊啦。咁我哋鏡頭另一邊咧，我哋有佢哋第8代嘅傳人啊 ，Victor 同我哋一齊講解下 Châteauneuf-du-Pape 呢個區啦，同埋佢家族嘅酒莊 Domaine de Beaurenard。So welcome back everyone. Welcome back to the Watson Sour. So in December we have a new series on Grenache or Garnacha, depends on where you come from. And last month we talked about Riesling. A white variety that reflects the terroir a lot, depends on the location. And this month we drink some red wine, so we chose Grenache. Why do we choose Grenache? Because it's getting more and more popular, and a lot of people are kind of rediscover this the potential of this ancient variety. A lot of people say that given the discovery of the old vines, winemaking method. They think that they have an idea that Grenache can also reflect the terroir of the origin of the vines. So some people even say that it's the Liu Pinot Noir. And so that's why we pick Grenache as a theme of this month. So if we talk about Grenache, so we must talk about Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So Châteauneuf-du-Pape is located in southern Rhone, southern part of France. So it's not only the first wine AOC of France, and also they have a very special soil called Galets Roulés, which is like a big pebblestone soil, which is very suitable to grow Grenache. And today we are very happy to have Domaine de Beaurenard on the other side of the road, on the other side of the camera. So they started the Domaine in 1695. So nowadays in charge by the 8th generation, Victor, to make the wines. So hello, Victor, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So as long as I just mentioned, so you are the 8th generation of the family Domaine. How does it feel to carry on this heritage of a long history?
Yes.
Can you also tell us more about your family?
Yes. So it's a long history, and 8th generation. It's going back to the mid 19th century, and then we have older document in the family going back as far as 1695, as you mentioned. So the roots of the family are very, very old, established in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. We are actually one of the oldest family established in the region. Here on the picture, you can see myself with my family. So my grandfather Paul, my father Daniel, my uncle Frederick, and my brother Antonin. So right now we are running the business with my father, uncle, and brother. My grandfather as well as my grandmother are retired, but still very connected to the domain, the business, and the production, as they want to know what's going on, what's new, and they are enjoying to see that the grandsons are now taking over. So my brother and I, we joined 5 years ago, and we've been since then for many years learning year after years from my father and from my uncle. And just so you know, the 9th generation just came out a month ago. So I'm a father for a month. So now yesterday we were doing a new plantation of baby vines. In one of the parcels, and so we came, all the members of the family, including my son, to plant a vine in this new vineyard. So 4 generations at the same time were together, which is really nice. So it's maybe one day he will take over myself and become a winemaker. Now he's just a little baby growing and drinking milk. So one step at the time.
Soon he will be drinking wine, tasting, not drinking.
Soon.
Tasting wine.
Yes, soon. So it's passion and business together, as a family, and it's a very special for us. But it's all about the passion that I have from my ancestor that I want to continue.
So as far as I know, your domain, the family domain, is established in 1695. So is it from day one your family like plant the grapes and make the wines at the domain, or you originally sell the grapes to others?
Yes, originally we the oldest bottle we have now in the cellar are from 1895. So. Okay. The previous century, so it's very old. So it's not a new thing that we've been making wine. Before it's hard to say because it's hard to find all details and so on until the mid 19th century. But we were growing grapes. I think at this time maybe making a little bit of wine mostly was a bulk market and maybe selling to others. My grandparents and their parents developed a lot of bottles, so for us it was important to sell our production in bottle with our name on the bottle, the name of the estate, and starting from there.
So I also know that the vineyard is 100% biodynamic certified. Well, so when do you start this practice, and how does it feel like? How does it help the vineyard or the quality of the wine?
So yeah, it's a very good picture to show what we do. It is a little plot in the heart of Châteauneuf-du-Pape near the old castle. And on the background, you see Mont Ventoux, which is a famous mountain in the region. And we are plowing. The soil is very typical of Châteauneuf, as you can see the big pebbles of Châteauneuf. And this work is very hard with a horse. And it's something my father brought back to the winery 15 years ago. Oh. And when he started to do so, everybody was calling him a crazy person, because they said, why are you doing that? We have tractors and it's painful for nothing. But in those vineyards with narrow vineyards, old vines and so on, it's very soft and respectful of the vines and the soil with no compaction and so on. So it's really a nice thing that we are not doing in 100% of the vineyard, because we would need more than one horse. But it's about 1/3 of our vineyard, which is a lot of work. And those practices with other practices, as using natural plants to spray in the vineyards, and an approach, maybe I can do a parallel with a Chinese medicine, where you try to be healthy all year long and not taking pills when you're sick. And it's another approach, I think, more natural and preventive. And this is the way we see the vineyards and our health as well. So it's really another philosophy than most producers.
How many horses do you have?
We have only one, and actually it's Olivier that you see on the picture, that is the owner and who carry the horse, because it's such a specific work that and such specific maintenance, or it's high maintenance, the horse. Let me tell you,
that's true.
It's a very.
I'm sure it's more expensive to make for the maintenance of the machine. It's much more expensive.
Yes, it is.
And you have to keep him happy.
Yes.
So is it a must to use a horse under biodynamic principle? Is a must?
No, we don't have to use it, but we also use the spray of nettle, yarrow, different plants, silica. We follow also the moon cycles. The biodynamic calendar follows that, to be more efficient in the work we do, as we think that as the moon cycle has an effect on the sea, the ocean, the marea, also have effects on the development and the response of the plants, including the vines. So we try to be taking as much as we can that into the consideration for organizing the work, which makes sometimes us working Sunday, which is not something typical in France at all. And
in Hong Kong,
things like that.
Sometimes.
Yes. So we do things different, but the idea at the end of the day is not to make that to be different. Is because we think it brings quality to the grapes, quality and health to the vineyards, and therefore quality to the bottle of wine you're gonna have and drink. That's our idea.
Yeah. So, as a film is a Grenache this month, so let's talk about the grape.
Yes.
With the bottle
yes.
is Rasteau. A lot of people know the name of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, the first AOC, wine AOC of France. And what about Rasteau? So is it another AOC or another village, or can you explain that?
Yes. Well, it's a very good question. It's both. It's another village, a little village that is 30 kilometers north of Châteauneuf. So it's still in the southern part of the Rhône Valley, very close. It's, 20-25 minutes drive. And around the village of Rasteau, it's an appellation, AOC, called Rasteau. And we have the vineyard in my family over there for 40 years. So it has been a long time. We've been farming 40, so since the 80s. And back then, it was a Côte d'Iron village.
Yeah.
And it was moving to cru, like Gigondas, Vaqueras, and of course, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, that is the most famous, back in 2009. So this vintage is actually the 10th anniversary of the cru recognition for Rasteau. Yeah.
Wow. Just
it's smaller than Châteauneuf, but very typical Rhône character. It's and big base of Grenache.
Just quick recap. 咁我哋而家試緊呢支第一支嘅 Hustle 啦。咁 Hustle 以前我啱啱入呢間公司嘅時候咧，佢仲有一個village 即係 village 嘅appellation 嚟嘅。咁但係因為咧佢嗰個質素越嚟越受認同啦，越嚟越好啦，啲酒嘅 sample， 咁佢已經升級咗咧，做自己獨立一個 cru， 咁啊自己有獨立嘅 AOC 啦，就唔再 under Côte d'Iron village 啦。咁即係證明咗佢呢個產區嗰個 potential 都有即係好好嘅 potential 啦。So can you describe the typical style of the Rasteau?
Yes, Rasteau is for me always has a big structure. It's pretty concentrated with tannins quite present and aromatic. It's always dark fruits and garrigue notes. So the herbal Provençal notes like thyme or rosemary, those fresher notes that are in addition of the fruit. And sometimes it's on the black fruit olives character as well. And it's quite typical for me of a Rhône, Southern Rhône wine with muscles or concentration, but at the same time, it has a good drinkability because of the salinity, what we call also the salts, the minerals, because it's a very rocky terroir. You have rocks not as big as in Châteauneuf, but it's very, very rocky, and the subsoil has chalk as well, which brings this character to the Rasteau wines. So it's really for me a lovely cru of the Rhône that is getting more and more famous as his brothers, as I said, Gigondas, Vaqueras, Châteauneuf, but it's a new crew in the team, so it's getting more recognition years after years.
I mean, for me, it's a very friendly wine, in my opinion. So it's easy drinking, but it still has the concentration and the juiciness of fruit of Grenache here. So typically, a lot of like Côte d'Iron, the more basic blend, you sometimes lack the body and the flavor. So, but this one, Rasteau, you still get the intensity of the red fruit, black fruit on the palate. So, but with the good price and things, and easy drinking, very smooth tannins. Is it a blend or 100% Grenache?
It's a blend. The big majority of Grenache is at least 80%, and then we have a little bit of Syrah, and maybe a little over 15% in average, and then we have a touch of Mourvèdre. So it's what it's often called GSM, Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre. But the base and the main one, as for the Châteauneuf, is Grenache, which is the most important variety of the Southern Rhône Valley for sure. Yeah.
So we have a question that for Grenache in other part of the world, for example, Australia or Beaurenard in Spain, they also do 100% Grenache. But like in Southern Rhône, like in Rasteau or Châteauneuf-du-Pape, we are going to taste later, it's always a blend. So what do you think the reason behind of that?
So it's a very good question. I think in our region, at least, Grenache gets something more when it's blended with other varieties. And the combination is always, in my mind, in my family opinion, as it's our philosophy, the combination, the blend, will make a greater wine than if we keep varieties separated. It brings a nice harmony, addition, complexity. It's like a puzzle that you're completing, and it's very interesting to have them together, keeping Grenache as a main variety. Yeah. In other places of the world, they keep it alone. It's good. In Châteauneuf also, sometimes you have producers that keep it by itself. Yeah. It's allowed only in Châteauneuf, not in Côte d'Or, not in Rasteau. Yes, but it's more like an exception than a rule. And for us, it's important to have this king variety blended with all the others. So in Rasteau, there is 2 other varieties, typical run varieties, as I just said. In Châteauneuf, we have much more grape varieties.
13?
And yes, more, 13 varieties. And if you take all colors of each variety, it goes up to 18 different kinds. But we do use in my family all those varieties in the wine you're having on the table, the classic Châteauneuf, de Beaurenard as well. And it's very important, as for us, it's just like in cuisine, in cooking, you add those little spices, little ingredients around the main dish, and it brings all the flavors, all the complexity, layers, and yes, the layers of the flavors to your dish. In a wine, we approach that the same way, as we think all those varieties are an amazing way to bring the wines to complexity and you know, this unique profile. Also
balance the harmony of the wine.
Absolutely.
So, before we move to Chateau de Pop, so I want to ask a question. How would you compare the Grenache in Southern Rhone to other part of the world?
I think the main challenge with Grenache is the, I would say, the alcohol that you can have. It's a variety that likes a lot the sun, so it needs to be in the sun and dry place of the world as we are here. It also needs low yield, because when you have high yield, it does not make good results. And sometimes it concentrates so much the sugar that it makes high alcohol. So I think the good thing in our region, and we are able to balance with other varieties that make less alcohol. Senso, for example, or Counoise, and Mourvèdre in a certain way. It's very good way to balance the power of Grenache. I think in this region, Grenache is at its expression very good, because it has this minerality incredible from the chalk, the limestones that we have in our soils here. And it's something that it loves, Grenache, for sure.
So moving to the next one, Chateau de Pop, Victor, you mentioned you use all 13 permitted grape varieties, and so this is like always is always in the blend of all 13 varieties. Is it always in the blend? Yes,
they are always in the blend, and it's very important. We don't only have it in the blend, but it's also co-planted in the vineyard, meaning that our blend of varieties is not done before bottling or during aging. It's done way before. It's done at the vineyard, or also when we harvest and we put the grapes in the tanks. I can just quickly switch the video here, so you can see the tanks. This is cellar, and my wish was to go downstairs, but the set we were doing was low in coverage today. I don't know why. So I'm keeping it, staying in the office. But here you can see larger oak tanks, and now they are full of wine aging 2021. But a couple months ago, it was grapes fermenting with different grapes co-fermenting. Grenache based with Syrah et Mourvèdre for Rasteau. Grenache and Cinsault with a little bit of whites, with Counoise. Co-fermentation for us is very important. And if I come back to the cooking, I can also tell you, like, if you cook a dish, sometimes you put the ingredients together early, and they are cooking together.
Makes that,
and that brings you a different result than if you add them at the last moment. Our method is to put the ingredients early.
In the vineyards, they are planted together.
Yes, and it's something that was almost lost, and that also my father puts back a lot, and they are harvested together. So they are planted and harvested same day, and as long as they grow together, we have observed that the ripening are very close and very even throughout the vineyard.
So when I'm tasting Chateau de Pape 18, and I have a question in my mind that do you think that Grenache has the same ability of Pinot Noir to reflect the terroir?
Absolutely. And I heard you were talking in your introduction about Riesling also, which I think is an amazing white grapes to translate terroir taste. I think Pinot is obviously amazing for that. And I think Grenache is extremely good. All those varieties are very sensitive and very, you can do a miracle and a disaster with it. It's very sensitive to where it's planted, how you grow it, the weather, everything. It's a diva, you know, you need to be very nice and careful with those varieties. And once you treat them well and they are at the right place, they give you the exact feeling of the terroir, the sense of place. And yes, I think it's definitely one of the best varieties to reflect terroir. And sometimes they call Grenache Pinot of the South, because it's also very delicate and velvet and very elegant profile. So it's definitely our approach as we want to make the most elegant wine possible. So
in terms of style, I think the Chateau de Pape, the first attack is riper. The fruit is riper and more full body on the palate, and at the same time it's a bit tight. On the nose is closer, but the husto is a bit more juicier, and definitely the mouthfeel, the texture is totally different.
It's always good for the Châteauneuf to it's always a little more reserved at the beginning, but also when you have a dish, this is not a problem. If you pair that with food, it's excellent. It's a little more salty and not as juicy as the Rasteau.
It is, especially on the finish. I feel the minerality is salty.
The minerality is strong, and it's wines. Our wines, for us, it's important they are dry, no sweetness, no residual sugar, and it's made to drink on table, you know, with food. Very important to remind that when you taste wines all the time, the feeling you have at that time by itself is different than the feeling you will have during a meal. And for us, the salty is very important for the meal.
What's your favorite pairing with this?
I think for me, something incredible that works very, very well is a lamb meat. The fat of the lamb and just the flavors of the lamb are really good. So I like to do a lamb in the oven, oil, just some herbals on top, or a little spicy. and have that with some vegetables, simple, and the red wine. It's a 100% a winner pairing, I think.
And for the vintage, 2018, how's the vintage?
Yeah, that was a very special vintage for us. The spring was wet and hot as we have never seen before. It was like a jungle tropical weather in Châteauneuf, which is very uncommon, as we usually have a lot of cold, dry wind that helps, called Mistral. And that year, the spring was difficult. So we had to be on top of the vineyards all the time. We lost half of the production. And finally, in the early summer, weather turned out to be very good throughout the entire harvest as well in September. So the quality of the grapes was outstanding. The quantity were horrible, very, very low. And the season, the growing season was tough on us, very demanding. We lost over half of the production.
Wow.
That was a lot.
Yeah. That's why it's this bottle is selling faster on online store. I think it's sold out. I'm drinking the last bottle in our store.
I can show you something. Wait one moment.
Okay.
I see that here. If I can take it, it's in my hand. Okay. All right, I have it. One moment. We got a very nice recognition for this of Concours Saint-Marc. It's it's a wine challenge made only for the producer of Chateauneuf.
Okay. So it's only Chateauneuf the pub, the competition.
Red 2018. Only Chateauneuf, and it's tasted only by Chateauneuf producer or people that work in the region, professionals. So we got the first prize, and it was a very good recognition for us because of the hard work we had to do that year. Having this prize from our friends and neighbors, it was good recognition. This prize is not like a Parker or Wine Spectator prize that everybody knows in the world. This is only special for yourself in the region. But it's like, okay, my neighbors said, okay, I made a very good job that vintage. So we were happy.
Congratulations. It's very delicious, this one. Okay, shall we move to the next one? It's a special cuvée, I understand?
Yes.
So it's named Beaurenard also. What does it mean?
So the two names are very close. You see on the image, Beaurenard from Domaine de Beaurenard. It's very similar. Beaurenard is the old name of the estate, the old name of the lieu-dit in the map. So on the documents we have this old name that is shown, and the old name we wanted to save it and use it for this special cuvée. So this is a very special cuvée made only with the oldest vines.
Is it a single vineyard or a selection?
No, it's a selection. It's not a single vineyard. It's all the small vineyards we have with old vines. So the selection is made based on the age of the vines.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are the vines?
And the youngest, if I may say, they are 60 years old now, and the oldest are above 100 years old. So it's a range of grandmother and great grandmother vines.
How does it make a difference for like wines that produced from the old vines?
So the difference, an old vine basically will produce less fruit, but the fruits will have an extra concentration, an extra intensity of aromas, and at the same time, an incredible finesse. So everything is balanced. It's not a concentration we are forcing. So the results, you cannot make it with younger vines. And it's just the passions of vines that were planted by my grandfather or my great-grandfather. And now it's giving different results of fruits and wine, obviously. And you see here, great example of old vines as bush trees, no trellising, no cables in the vineyard. It's really done the old way. Those rocks are also in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. It's not everywhere in Châteauneuf, the galets that we've seen earlier. Also, that part, it's in the west part of Châteauneuf. It's a pure limestone and very chalky and giving an extraordinary minerality to the wine.
Usually, we see the vines, Grenache vines in Châteauneuf-du-Pape are trained very low. Is it? Yeah. Is there any reason behind it, or you need the reflection of the light from the stone?
So there is two vision about it. The one you just see are not as low. It's called gobelet haut, and most gobelets are small. It's true. Years after years on the old vine, it tends to grow because the vine will grow even if you're pruning every year. So they tend to go higher and higher. For us, it's good to have them not too low because it gives a better circulation of the air, the wind. And also, we don't need to have too much heat from the soil reflected because now weather are mostly warmer. So it's depending on how each producer will see that, you know?
Yeah. How would you describe this wine? I'm tasting it now. I think it needs more air, so I like keep it.
You are on the 2016, 17 vintage. 17. Am I right?
17. Yes.
So 17, I think, it needs maybe a little air right now, a little maybe decantation if you think it's too close when you open the bottle. No problem at all. It's a wine that also, once you open it, compared to the Rasteau or compared to the classic Châteauneuf, it's a little more austere at the first thing. But after a few minutes or a few seconds in your glass, it will open up with a nice structure in the nose, a nice complexity, and in the mouth, it's just another world. It's really a concentration, intense with incredible finesse together combined. So it has more concentration than the classic Châteauneuf, but for me it's something for special occasion. Also, maybe I would recommend to go with a red meat and the sauce, maybe, or you go with the duck is a stronger meat. It's also very good. If you take that with a sauce, yes, absolutely. A stew is important to give some fat and some juice to go with the wine.
Yeah. So when I taste this wine, the first thing you feel that like even higher concentration and intensity, but at the same time, it keeps the smoothness of the house style. I would say house style of the Domaine de Beaurenard. It's very elegant and smooth. So it doesn't have a big tannin. When you drink it, a little bit tannin, I mean, still dry, still a little bit astringency, but it feels very comfortable and very smooth to drink it.
And this is, as you said, the house style. It's really a goal for us to reach the nice touch of tannins, this elegant touch. You need to have something that is giving you a little resistance, a little feeling in the mouth, but not too much astringence. And it's for us a goal on every single wine we are making.
So for yourself, what other wine region you like most, other than Château de Pape or Sauternes?
Well, I can tell you that I like a lot of different wine regions throughout the world. In France, I think of obviously of Burgundy, as we discussed about Pinot. It's incredible to understand the impact of terroir. It's just amazing to understand the impact of soil that is taking over the variety or the winemaker that is making it. As well, you have very interesting thing in the northern Rhone with the Syrah, for example, by itself giving you big difference from terroir, from one Côte Rôtie to a Saint Joseph to a Cornas. It's also very interesting. As long as you have an incredible terroir, I think for me, I'm attracted by the wines that we can make there.
What about regions outside France?
You know, talking about Riesling, I think obviously in Germany you have
Germany, sure. Yeah. Most of
to impact rather than just the varieties itself, and that's where I am having a lot of fun that you can have with the Pinot that are now made in Oregon, for example, and Italian wines. I think would be my number two if I go out the country. And the approach, I find some incredible approach in Barolo that reminds me of what we have here in terms of size and whole history, and they have their own practices, and it's fascinating, I think.
I think the terroir difference is one of the most important when we drink, when we taste and study about wine. And I think it's also one of the most interesting factor of wines. So that's why in October, we did a series of Barolo and Barbaresco. So to discover different Nebbiolo, phases of different Nebbiolo. And last month, we did a Riesling in different countries. So the message we want to show that is not a matter of which one's better, but it's the fact that different region or different country with their special unique terroir can produce very different kind of style of wines, even it's the same varieties. So this is the most interesting part of wine, I reckon.
I agree, and it's not many products in the world that can give you different flavors, so complex, so many different examples of Grenache throughout the world, for example. And you're never bored. You always have something new to discover all the times, and then you pick yourself your favorites and go back to them whenever you want. And you know, it's for us, it's not only about making the wines, it's also being very passionate about drinking wines from many regions and understand that it's a whole world. Very interesting and exciting, I think.
Yeah. Do you remember? I would like to say, if you stay with Watsons, you never get bored, because we have a wide range of wines from different parts of the world.
That's true.
So I don't want to take you too much of your time. So it's time for your lunch, I guess. So thanks.
Yes. I will go straight to lunch after that. Yeah. I just want to show you quickly my brother that just arrived, so he can say hello as well.
Sure.
Hi, my brother Antoine.
Hello. Hello.
It's just coming back to the vineyards where we were planted, as I told you. So
you finished the harvest this year, right? Already, I think.
Yes.
So
and
how was the harvest this year?
It was very good. Again, we have not a big production because of the frost wave that was in April throughout France. Yeah. But our production was down about 30%. So we don't make big production even at full capacity, as it's limited by the AOC Chateauneuf or Rasteau, but that's small production quality is very good, and it's a very nice freshness for us. It's important, especially with the weather that we have been facing over the last few years, but it's definitely very good vintage. We are happy because some of our friends, winemakers in other regions, they have lost pretty much everything. It was very, very difficult for them. So we're thinking, situation in this vintage.
Okay, thanks again for joining us, Victor, today. So I hope to see you very soon in Hong Kong in person. Please.
I really hope that I can jump in the plane and with no mask and enjoying a tasting, a dinner in a normal situation. But I don't know.
Hopefully very soon. Finger crossed.
We can do it soon. Yeah. Thank you for organizing the video tasting. It's fun.
Cheers. Enjoy your lunch.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.